Hello everyone. Welcome back again to another video of animations. I really like talking about this, and as you can see in my tab we have intersection observer API, and I searched for it to refresh my memory of it since I've been using let's say libraries and React for some time now that uses intersection observer, but I still know the fundamentals of it because through it we can do scrolling animations and stuff, infinite scrolling, lady loading images and stuff like that. But in this we will use it for animations. Also, I noticed that what I explained last night about the bug was kind of wrong, and I already edited the description, but let me explain it to you. So if you can notice here, I changed up the code a little bit, if you still remember. So the transition is now in this place, right? Because I removed it from the HTML markup itself. That's because I noticed that it actually happens. The bug actually happens when we have a transition duration. Yeah, that was my mistake, and I think that this can still work using keyframes, but as long as the duration is not inside of this, so like not on the start of the page load, because we set this to transform translate X of 100%, then that means it will be, let's say, it will be slow to be let's say, to go to this point for this property to be fulfilled on page load when we set the transition as well on this declaration right here inside the brackets of this class name itself. So let's just say that with keyframes you can say that the animation duration will be down here when the element finally has the data active, or when the element is finally toggled by the user. So as you can see right now, it doesn't have the data active, but if we add it like over here, say false, this is false, there we go, it does that. That is because we put the transition to the declaration, to the selector of the nowlinks container class, and when it has the attribute of data active. And if you remove the data active and then add the transition instead to the selector of the class itself, you will notice something pretty cool. That's not cool. Oh, there we go. It's still the same. As you can notice. And if we actually remove this, like this down here, it will just remain there. That's because this is its default state. And yes, you can actually have, let's say, a width of 0 at first, but when you let's say change the width or dimensions of an element, it causes DOM reflow. And you can check here, wait, there we go, it will pretty much affect all these 3 areas of performance of your website. So now layout is pretty much about how fast, I guess, does your layout shift. So like when it shifts, let's say a change of screen size and whatnot. While paint is more like the colors, the background, the images. For composite, I'm not too sure, but you can check it out more in Lighthouse and YouTube, I guess, because I only have like the surface of it, and it's right here, and you can just check. And mind you that in mobile it will definitely be let's say slower, because I think Lighthouse uses a 3G network in mobile emulator. I think it's called emulator. It's pretty much right here, 3G, and this has a speed of, wait, yeah, there we go. No, never mind. That's my settings. But you can just search it up. So slow 3G. There we go. So 400 kilobytes per second, and a very slow latency for me at least. But this is still fast. But so this means that it takes 2 seconds for something to travel from the client to the server. So that's what latency means. You learn something about backends, but wanting to learn about animation. So anyway, so now I can just try this. Of course, this will be have a good score because there's not much on the page. But if it has a bad score, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Let's just try it out. Let's see. Really? Oh, just because it's removed or what? Oh, I don't really mind. We're here for animations, bro. Okay. Wait, what happened? Oh, I removed it, I think. Okay. I know that I explained why I don't really animate the width. I did animate it at first, like when I was starting out in web development. But now I knew about the performance. Say it contributes to performance issues, I guess. It slows down your website. That's why I use transforms now. For further details, you can just check it out on the internet. However, I have a slight idea about it. It's like the main thread, the composite and layout and stuff occurs on the CPU of a user's computer, in the CPU rather. So a thread and stuff like that, but transforms and stuff doesn't really occur. But as you can see, it still triggers paint, so it's like the graphics, so it like affects the GPU instead. I'm not too sure, so you should search it out. You should search it up. There we go. Anyway, now that is out of the way, let's start making animations, or start discussing animations. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the inbuilt .animate function API in JavaScript, which has helped me before. However, I find it kind of tedious to make and instead choose to use CSS, but for this video I will show it to you. Well, of course, first things first, we need to make a section now. Before that, I want to show something which you probably know already, but I haven't. So we can have two ways for this navbar actually. Either set it to position, or header rather, such as set it to position of fixed, or we can set it to a position of sticky. So now what sticky means, okay, wait. Wait, didn't I really put it to the top? Oh, why didn't I? There we go. Nothing really happened, right? Still there, and position is sticky. So what sticky means is that as long as it is like where it is, let's say here, naturally, it will be at a position of relative. However, when you leave, let's say you leave its parent container, or like let's say you leave, like you scroll down, then it will stick to the parent container, something like that. So in this case, a parent container is the body. So when you scroll down and move, you know, then it will stick to the body. That's what I think about it. What this is, let's say, a better approach for me now, because okay, wait, let me add the main tag actually first. Hello. Okay, there we go. Because so if I put this back to fixed, you can see what I mean. There we go. So what happened is that now it's on top, and to fix that I need to add a padding top of Abraham, I guess, or whatnot. And I don't find it really good. As you can see, it also causes things that width causes. Anyway, so yeah. So sticky is good for nav bars or stuff that you want to stick to the sides, but really want to be relative at first, let's say. But for this let's say menu here, we need it to be fixed as far as I know. Right, yeah, we need it to be fixed. Okay, so now let us start making the first section, shall we? So we have a section, the class name of hero section, I guess, and this will just be a simple section, I guess, with an image, a background image. We can add a background image. Let's go to Unsplash. I should have prepared this beforehand, but whatever. So landscape. Let's see. Okay, we can use this. Free. Okay, copy this. Now we can insert this image onto the files of public. Wait, should we go to public? No, I think we should let this be processed by Git. Okay. So everything that's put inside the source folder will be processed by the bundler that you're using. And in this case, it's Bit and it's like pre-configured already. But if you're like, let's say, installing your own bundler, compiler, I guess, right? Yeah. Then you need to configure it yourself. And Bit is like very fast and pre-configured, unlike Webpack. Okay, anyway, where was I? Tolerance. Webpack requires a lot of configuration, so yeah. Anyway, let's rename this to background 1. Okay, so with the class name background container, an image, which is the image itself, source of let's see, what did we put here? We put sources, and so it's background 1 and an alt of that credits. Alright, so if you're wondering, you can use backtext for this. And just use it. Just don't forget. Oh, never mind. I thought this was React for a moment. Oops. Okay, you cannot use backtext, but you can just use a single quotation mark. Pretty much, there can't exist the same kinds of quotation marks in one stuff. But in super powered HTML like Astro and React, the other what do you call this, other libraries or frameworks, you can use backticks for stuff like this to ease your life, I guess. But yeah, the image should load. There we go. Okay, the image is here and it's too bright. Okay, let me start styling this for now. So we can go to this, can have section CSS. So it's like all the sections in our page. And we can import that in here. Okay, and then this again, so I can see what classes I'm affecting. So anyway, yeah, wait, this CSS support, yeah, and the already. Let's try. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. So this is how you do it in SAS, but yeah. Excuse me. Okay. So we have background container. So did we set the image to have 100% of this? Oh no, we didn't. Okay. So always images should have a weight of 100% and max value of 100% of its parent, and I guess we could set the height as well. So I just like to do this so it's more predictable, I guess, to handle images. And I can just depend on the parent of it instead of the image itself. Okay, and object fit usually covers good for like backgrounds and stuff, but if you expect images like a portrait, you should use contain, or else it will look ugly. Like just contain means pretty much means to maintain the aspect ratio of the image. So if it's portrait, it will remain like portrait. If it's landscape, it will remain like a landscape. If it's a square, it will remain like a square. But with cover, it will take up, it will, let's say, expand to fulfill the width of 100% and height of 100%. Thus, let's say, zooming in on the image. So let's give the background container with a position of absolute, and the section with a position of relative. So I just like to do this so that I can lazy load background images on, let's say, lower sections of the page. Because with CSS URLs, it's just like, I don't think there's a way to lazy load them. It's just loaded or requested by the page when the CSS loads. So yeah. Anyway, so at top.0, left.0, excuse me. What's I doing? Okay. So as the index of -1 so that the texts can be seen. And I want this to have a background as well of black. So if we save that, nothing happened. Why is that? I don't know. Did I not save the? Okay, I did. Let me check the problem real quick. Just there, yes. The section is there as well. Is it the image that we need to add a background color to, or what? We haven't specified the width yet. Okay. So width of 100%. I just pretty much 100% for viewport. And the height of, let's say, 70 VH or 100% as well. And for the section, we'll set the width or the height to 70 VH. There we go. Although what happened? So it really should be the image that we add the background to. What? Let me check my section. What's this black thing though? I don't understand. Let me try to refresh my page. What did I do wrong? Let's see. So nothing is wrong. What was it? Did I really specify background of black? No, I did not. Oh, never mind, I did. Wow. I totally forgot. Okay, then never mind. Oops. Okay, so I guess I should put it on the image. I don't know if this will work, but let's see. Yep, it doesn't. You can just put it on the, I guess, the container for the texts or content. So let's do that. Alright, I'm going to teach you about parallax as well. Just a simple one. It's not really like some, let's say, super beautiful effect, but it's like some kind of illusion, a little bit. So you can use a technique called using perspective property. Now in and of itself, it doesn't really have much use, but this is like setting the base for like how much a perspective of a parent element has. So you should specify this to the parent element if you want to say specify the z position, or the, say how far an element is from a user. Yeah, how far an element is from a user. So let's say a perspective of 10 pixels. So if I say here I want to transform this translateZ to 0, did that work? I don't know. What am I doing wrong here? This should be working. Maybe the image itself, not the background container. Let me try. It was working before. Let's see. Sure, -10. I mean, this should be working with 0. Yeah, it does. It's not working. Why oh why? I should teach you about animations, but okay, I will leave that for later. Yeah, let's leave the parallax for later. I think there's something wrong with what I remember. Yeah, okay. Let's add the content. So just a simple div class content container. I don't need to give this an ID. So this will have an right, this should be an article, because this is where the main content lives in this section. The main content of the section lives, rather. So just a simple h2, not an h1, and then lorem ipsum, I guess. But for the, I guess we can have that. Rem times 10, basically 10 sentences of lorem ipsum. So if you check that out, it should appear right there. And now we can just say the contents to have with, well, we can try this stuff, height of 100%, display of grid, flex rather, because it's like has 2 children, so items, something, flex direction, column, justify context center, and gap of 1 and color of black. Oh no, background color of black. So we save that, there we go, and we can just lessen the opacity of this to that much, I guess, and I should have this at the root of the index.css file. Wait, I don't know if this will work for this. Let's try. Good. So section background. There we go. See if this works. Oh, it does. Never mind, it doesn't. I thought it would. Did it? Let's try to increase the intensity here. Oh wait. Oh, never mind. That's why it didn't. There we go. It works. Okay, good. Very good. So I should actually have this set to map side. Wait, what? Oh, not this. This one. This is not okay. Min height. There we go. I should set it to min height, not max height, so that it does not decrease anymore. So if you see, wait, what? Oh, never mind. Oops, that's my bad. I mean, height should be a fixed rem. Okay. So that's what I was doing wrong. Anyway, min height of 50 rem, I guess. Oops, too big. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Finally. So always take 70% of the viewport height, but have a min height of 30 rem and also a max height, I guess, of 80 rem. Nah, maybe 50 rem. Okay, there we go. And we should give this a padding as well. So padding of 1 rem, 2 rem on the sides. There we go. Oh, and text justify as well. Text align, justify. There we go. And the H2, have a font size of 3 rem, I guess. Is it big enough? Yes, it is big. And I guess we can give this a text shadow, just for some effect. Text shadow of negative 0.25 rem, 0.25 rem, 5 rem, black. There we go, and lessen the opacity of that to say 476 much. There we go. Yeah, like that. And yeah, there we go. And let's just copy paste this, but this time you'll have it as the first section. It's pretty much like a dummy texts or dummy sections. My mouse is pretty faulty. There we go. Just paste this. Okay. Where's the first one? There we go. Okay, this one's first section. First section ID. First section. So yeah. Second section. Excuse me. And third section. Alright, that's good. I should change their images as well. Okay, let's go back to Unsplash and just search for landscapes. I really love landscapes. I love nature, but yeah. Okay, let's try this snow epic. Oh, it's baked. So the one with plus. Let's go with this. Why not? This one. Okay, we should be pretty quick about this. What was it not downloaded? Oh, okay. There we go. What? There we go. Let's go to here. Rename the to background 2. this, I don't know what to name it. And just change this. Where is it? Change this to this is the second section, right? Okay. Oh, first section rather. I mistook it for the hero section. Anyway, let's choose another one. This is taking a lot. This is lagging a bit, but okay, I like this one. Okay, second section, and we need to get last one. Okay, so let's just drag it there. Oopsies. My mouse is faulty right now, but it's alright. What you should do as well is actually to compress these images, because it's high quality, so too big. Just as much as, let's say, to not ruin the quality, a lossless compression to increase the performance of your website. But I won't do that here, but I recommend you doing that if you're building a serious website or like a real world website where you get paid and you host it and stuff. Anyway, this is just a project, so yeah. Anyway, I should credit that this beautiful, not beautiful, I don't know her, this woman, Coach Layson, whatever. Come now. There we go. Okay, let's go to downloads and just grab that. Oh, grab that there. I drag that there and then rename it to background 4. There we go. Okay, let's go back to our page, and it's not responsive at all, and I will change that very quickly. Okay. Alright. Background. I pasted it already, right? Yeah. 4. Okay. I actually don't like how it's like beside each other. So like this close. I mean, it's normal for it to be that close, but wait. Okay. Excuse me if you heard that. You can increase the height to dph and the max height to 70 rem, but you can add a media query here, and maybe just here. So when a width is greater than or equal, let's say 716 pixels, like usual common phone devices. You can have the max height to this guy, but usually we can just remove it. There we go. So if we go to phone mode, there we go, but the text is overflowing. However, the images should be increasing. However, oh, never mind. There we go. Okay. Why is the images not increasing anymore? I should increase it. Yeah. So like as the content increases it was already overflowing, the image should be moving as well. Why is it not moving? Okay, let's try to have it at 1/250 pixels. Guess that the max height is that. Ah, I see. Because it's VH. Okay. So maybe the mean height should be here. And then just have this like depending on the viewport. So okay, so this will be like depending on the viewport. Should we really play with this? Let's try to just remove it. Okay, I think doing it like this is better. Okay, so now it's responsive. Okay. Yeah, it's responsive now. Alright. Oh, that was it. Make the height back to auto as well. Let the browser decide for you. Okay, that's better. But I want to increase the padding, so I guess. So I'm doing it separately because on SAS it's like this when you use mixins. So why not do it ourselves like this as well? So when the width is not equal or greater than or equal 1 to 50 pixels, then just have the padding of the content container increase by 2 rem and 3 rem. However, when it reaches 1 rem and 2 rem, okay. So 2 rem, 3 rem, but when it reaches a width of less than or equal 40 pixels, so this is a max width, I want the content container to have a padding of 2 rem and 1 rem because it will be more clumped to the size. So we do that. As you can see now, it's more clumped, but this is much further away from each other. There we go. And yeah, I don't like how this looks, but you can just change the color anyway. Okay. Back to this, we can just have a clamp for the font size. So it's a clamp. Oh, I don't want that. I want this. So maximum of 1.75 gram and do typically calc. So we want to increase the font size by 0.1 ram per percent of the viewport width, and a maximum of 3 ram. There we go. And for the paragraph, the font size to be at 0.9 ram minimum, so like around 10 pixels I think, at base value of 16 pixels to 1 ram. We want to increase the ram by 0.01 ram per 5% of the viewport width, and at max 1.1 ram. There we go. Okay, so why don't we start lazy loading the images? Alright, I should increase the height. I forgot. There we go. And lazy load the images below. Wait, it's kind of laggy. On my mouse rather, is faulty. Come on, I need to discuss the Animate API. Start the loading here. So you can press Alt and then click to have multiple cursors on your editor. But I think that's only in VS Code. I'm not sure on other stuff. But yeah. So loading equals lazy. Yeah, it's not supported on Safari yet, huh? But even if it's not, we can just have it like that still. So either that or you can use the intersection observer as I have said. Anyway, this should be eager. So you shouldn't lazy load images that are seen right off the bat by the users, because that will cause the largest contentful paint, or like the paint that's like has most colors, I guess, to be delayed, thus causing loading time, an increase in loading time. So we should set it to eager, and it's loading. I don't know why it's slow, but alright. Okay, I should improve the performance of this is very slow. But oh well. That's that. If we do that, so the thing that's causing this is the smooth scroll, and yeah, and we can just go back to the top. So as you can check, it's not supported on Safari as well again. And yeah, just do this in CSS and you can have that neat effect of smooth scroll, smooth navigation between sections. But anyway, let me try doing the parallax again, and then if it's not possible, let's proceed to the animations, because it's been like what, 40 minutes. Goodness. Okay, let's just get straight to the animations first. Alright, let's go to, wait, you know what, let's set the height to 100 VH. Why not? Come on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright. What? Okay. So why don't we make another file here, which would be Animate API.ts. This is just like indicating that this file here uses the Animate API of JavaScript, and then we can just import that in here. There we go. For TypeScript to load this as well. Excuse me. Because in here we're only loading the module of, what do you call this, of main.ts. So yeah, I'm not too sure about code splitting in this built pre-configured Vite bundler, but you can definitely code split. But I need to research more about that. For now, let's do this. Okay, where's this index? So the first thing we'll do is to animate the hero section, and we don't really need an intersection observer for it because, well, it's visible right off the bat, and I don't really want to animate on scroll these sections repeatedly rather. That was a bad word. Repetitively. Okay. My mouse is so faulty right now. There we go. Okay. So let's declare the hero section. I guess I should put an ID to it. There we go. I don't know why the CSS is loading very slowly, but yeah. I guess it's because I'm splitting it into modules, and I can just like put it all in one huge file. I'm not too sure, but anyway. So what we want to animate is the header and the text. So I just want this to appear like to slide to the top. Yeah, so I would like it to burst to the top. Like moves up to the top, I guess. Something like that. And okay, let's try it out. Oh, I should actually wait, change this a bit. Okay, much better. Okay, that's definitely much better. And I should increase the background as well, and the opacity of this. Oh, decrease the opacity right there. Okay. Oh goodness, that's much better. Alright. and rename this the first section, this one to second section, this one to third section. Okay, now let's proceed to animations. So we want to animate the hero section on load, right? And we can just say that hero section animate. That's pretty much it. So, and as you can see, there's an error because, oh, never mind, there's no error. So if this was the same as the dot style, so if you can check here, cannot have a second guess. So let's start this one. There we go. But I guess on Animate you can have it. So this Animate API function takes in two parameters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it can be, so the first parameter is required because those are the properties that you want it to animate. Oh, and the second one is required as well if you wanted to show the animation, because that is where you define the options or the duration, fill mode, delay, and stuff. This is pretty much the same as the animation keyframes or animation property rather on CSS, and in this case you will let JavaScript handle it instead of you defining the animation keyframes, or like defining the properties on CSS rather, my bad, because this is the same as assigning properties to CSS. So anyway, when this JavaScript loads, that means the page has already loaded. So we can just say, or if you want to be secure, then we can encapsulate this or enclose this inside a self-calling function, or maybe a window that unload. So if you can check, close the object. So when the window loads, you can run a function or a callback function. Well, this is a callback function. I meant an arrow function. Wherein we'll animate the hero section. And I guess, what kind of animation do you want this whole section to be? I guess we can make it slide from the left. So I guess we can define. So let me define stuff first. Of data direction. So where do we want this to go to, or to animate towards? Excuse me. So where do we want this to animate towards? Well, for the hero section, I want it to animate to the right side. And for the below, so that doing opposite sides, you know, left, right, and left. Okay, we'll let that load. It's very slow, probably because the images are high quality. And it's lagging, but that's what it is for now. Okay, so onload of the onload of the window, we can just, but first we can get the direction of the hero section, and I just want to declare it here because I will use this variable name for the other ones. Anyway, get attribute of data direction now. So of course, in Animate, we wanted to transform and backticks because we will make this dynamic, and $sign brackets. So we can do this. So there's like a shortcut for stuff like this. So you can have translate x, then plus let's say direction, wait, so like this, and then plus ternary operation equals left. Then since it's going to the left, it will start from the right and go to the left, so from this to here. Then I want to, oh wait, okay, I've been bubbling nonsense here. Since we're animating this to actually enter the viewport, we don't need to we don't need to check its direction in here. We just want to translate it by 0. So I guess in this case 0. But let me show you what I meant with this one. It's pretty much plus, let's say 0, then plus this, and as you can see, it's pretty hard to read for me at least. But what this will look like is like this, or with backticks you can just do something like first translate then the parentheses and whatever dynamic value you will have. So if direction equals to left, for example, we can set it to 0, or I also set it to 0 as well again. But yeah, anyway, translate x to 0. So that's the only thing we want. And for the duration, we want it, so this one, the duration is, I think, milliseconds, or is it seconds? It's in GSUP, it's just seconds. Okay, let's try milliseconds, 300. And there's also easing, or so the timing function, so we want it to be at is in out, and the field mode, which you need to specify if you are setting this to remain on its final destination, which is transform translate x of 0. So field of, as you can see, forwards. Okay, so I don't need this. And if you check the dev tools real quick, oh, what? They did not work. So this one doesn't work? Question mark. Let's try to remove this. I thought it works when you say on mode. Okay. Where's the animation? Did I gather it wrong? Oh, this is weird. Well, let's try to style this now. So section with the data direction. So since CSS is lightweight, I really prefer doing the properties for animations in CSS, because it's like very fast to load for me at least. So JavaScript window request animation frame is the same as keyframes in CSS, but really I prefer CSS. So I will teach you in a bit what window request animation frame is, but for now, transform translate x this by 50%, negative 50%, and section for section data direction equals to left. Want to transform translate x it by 50%. So finish check that. Alright, overflow hidden as well for the body. There we go. Overflow x, not y. There will be no scroll if you do that. Okay. So it's not animating. I am alarmed by that. So an ID of hero section. This should be animating right now. So maybe oh, there we go. Okay, so you can check it, notice it. There we go. It's sliding, although it's laggy. There we go. It's sliding to the right, if you can notice it. So it's milliseconds. Okay. So if we say 2000, anyway, it takes 2 seconds for it to reach its full full to its viewport to the full viewport. Okay. So unload. There we go. Okay, what's to do? 1 second. Okay, and then I also want to animate its content. So the text. So for now, so what child do we want to animate? This right here. To do that, we can grab it. So hero section that last child. So last element child. So last child means the last child it has, which is here. And because we're saying last element child, because there's like differences between them. There's like HTML element and nodes. And nodes is like, if you think of it like a tree, like the HTML markup, like a tree, or the DOM, like a tree. Everything is included: white spaces, comments, and stuff like that. But for HTML element, it's like the tag itself, the element itself. So in this case, we know that the article is the last child, so we're going to get that. It's const content container. There we go. And then we want to get the content container dot first child, element child, because we know that the first element child of the article is the h2, or the content container is h2. So then also want to animate it, and that is to translate it to 0, because we will define this into, you guessed it, CSS again. And we also want to give it a delay, and that delay would be, so what's end delay? Let me check this. I'm more familiar with delay. So it will be equals to how long does it take for its parent or the hero section to complete its transition or animation. Well, it takes 1 second, so it will set the delay to 1 second as well. For the duration, I guess we can set it to 500 milliseconds, and is out, and the fill of forwards. Now it's not going to show itself because it's transform translate 0, but yeah. Oh, it's not showing itself here in the keyframes. Oh, so if you use a library, it shows. So I guess the Animate API doesn't show it. I haven't used it in a long time, so there's that. Okay. So if you can see, it's actually like transformed right now, but we can fix that real quick. How many hours is it? Okay, 1 hour. So now we can also add the data direction to the H2s. Okay, data direction. This one will be up, so from down to up. We want to animate it upwards. The first one at least, and this one will be down, just for some kind of opposite effects, I don't know. And this one will be up again. This one will be down, so up, down, correct. Now we can go back to here and H2 with an attribute of data direction up will be transformed translate. Oh no, not transform, translate. Why will it? Wait, first let me check what happens if I set. I know, but using transform is pretty much the same, just more of a layout. Alright, let's try this first. So H2. Let's try the height. So let's set the height. Oh, it doesn't work. So Okay, let's just do this slide up for now, because I want to do something like it appearing line like pixel by pixel, but for now let's do the slide up animation. Data direction. I wanted to transform translate. Oh, oops. Oopsies. There we go. Well, let's say 25%. If I refresh that, there we go. And of course, I want this to have an opacity of 0. And that should be with H2. That has the attribute of data direction. Because when we specify the data direction, that is the only time we want to animate it. Okay, so now if we do that, alright. Oops, I didn't specify the opacity here. Oh, there we go. Now, do that. What? Is it to be a string? Oh, oops. Oopsies. I'm getting it should be here. There we go. Okay, much better. Okay, let's speed this up a bit. It's too slow for me. Much better. And for the text, we can just animate its opacity. So again, main container that last element child, because we know the paragraph is its last element child. You just animate it to have opacity of 1. And the delay will be equal to both, the duration of to the total of the duration of the H2 and the hero section. So that would be 1100 milliseconds, right? Yep. And set the duration to 200 milliseconds and listening to this in, and the fields equals, oh, see how cumbersome this is again. So like you can just specify the attributes, and it's actually more accessibility friendly when you do that. I know I'm biased, but yeah. And as you can see here, there's no like indicator that it's actually being animated here, but if you check the sources, it should be there right here. Excuse me, there we go. And it's a bunch of code just for animations right here. Okay, there we go. And it's harder to maintain if you use this API, but I'm showing it to you right now because it's like, if you want to know more about animations, so here it is. Okay, so I will specify for the P, again, if the section has an attribute of data direction, that means we want to animate the whole thing. And then we want to set the opacity of this to 0, or the P of the paragraph rather. So now if we refresh this, see that's empty, then voila. And I think it's underwhelming, so let's try a scale. No, okay, scale 0. I can just specify it here. I want to scale. Scale 1. Okay, and opacity as well. Maybe let's make it slower. There we go. And we'll do the same for the others, but in this case they're all like sections now, but because so we can use like, I mean, they're like sections that is not in the viewport on page load. So like we don't want the animation to play when the page loads for these other sections, do we? That is where intersection observer comes in, and I just exited out of the website or the local host. There we go. It's taking so long to load. I don't know why, but it's probably because I'm using vanilla. So that it takes it looks through each file, as you can see, and CSS and the JavaScript. But yeah. This is the most underwhelming animation, but we're talking about beginner animations here, so okay. And to do that, we can just grab all of the sections to animate equals to document that query selector all. That's why the IntelliSense didn't show up. There we go. Okay. Check. Okay, so we can just add here a class name of observe or whatnot. For now, I guess we can use the class name. So all those with the class name of observe. So in here we can declare an observer. So this is how you use implement intersection observers rather. So declare a variable or initialize a variable and apply that at the new intersection observer class. There we go. It's a class, so you need to initiate it, call it rather. Alright, and if okay, I totally forgot. I know the basic layout of it, but let me read more about it first. Alright, I forgot that the callback was defined separately. That's why I thought you need to like assign it here and then just make a function out of it. Okay, never mind. So you can have a function here and animate on scroll, I guess you can say. Then we have the callback here, which is animate on scroll. And if you remember from my asynchronous video, callbacks, if you want to like reference something like a function as a callback, you shouldn't call it, because it is a reference. Because if you call it, it will just be called there. And as you can see, it provided an error. And options as well for the intersection observer. Now there are many options for intersection observers. That's root. So this specifies which of the parent element or ancestor of the element that you want to observe do you want to, let's say, be the base. So like, for example, when the root that you specify or the parent that you specify is finally visible, that is when the function or operation or command that you say tell the this callback function will be executed. For now we don't want root, but what we want is root margin. So what root margin does is how far away, or like how much margin do you want from the root itself. So when you don't specify the root, the default root would be the viewport, or like the entire element, I think. Yeah. In this case, let's say when we are negative 50 pixels in the element that we're observing, which is the whole section, so that we can see a little bit of it. So if we specify negative, that means we're like going inside, but if we specify positive, we're like going outside. So 15 pixels before we see the element. And for threshold, it means that how much of the total viewport do you want to be seen. So default it's 1, and that means like 100% of everything, the height and the width, so it's like totally seen, bare naked. But if you specify 0.25 and stuff like that, and it's like 25% of its let's say dimensions should be visible before we execute the functions. Well, for now we'll leave it at that as well, and we only want the root margin. So in here we accept, I think, entries. Okay, let me read some more again. Just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit of reading. So I now remember a bit. It takes two variables, which is the observer itself and the entries. So pretty much, what are we observing? And we can define that down here. So we have disconnect, observe, and unobserve. Of course, the other options. So in this case, we want to observe the elements, and then this is a function. And which element do we want to observe? We want to observe the sections to animate. Okay. It should be sections to animate for each sections to animate section. We want to observe it. There we go. Finally, I got it right. And of course, entries is like an array for this. And then for each section, it will be observed, and that will be included in here. And now for each entry, what do we want to do? Well, we can have a switch statement here, and we have entry that is intersecting, but that is not that readable. So we can say that if entry that is intersecting, we can say that we want to console.log visible. So if you refresh and go to console, and now if we scroll down, there we go. and again, and again. So around, so 3, right? Okay, mouse, please work. So there we go. Like when it's like 50% down, 50 pixels down, it's shown. Anyway, so if it's intersecting, we want to run something. There we go. Since I don't know what type this is, I'm just specifying any. But in JavaScript, you don't need to do this. This is just type checking in TypeScript. Okay. So when it's intersecting, what do we want to do? Well, we want to animate it. So we can say that we can copy what we did here. So pretty much just copy this. So entry that animate. So this should be sections only. So you need to specify that as well. And the other stuff. So content container. So we just need to change one name here. And wait. I need to buy a new mouse, don't I? Oh well. Come on. Come on. There we go. Oh. There we go. Okay. This one will be entry. And yeah, and then after that, since this will only be animated once, we don't want this to run repetitively like it did here. So like every time it's in the viewport, it runs, and then when it's gone, it will be observed still, and then when it returns, the console log runs yet again. We can just say that we want to unobserve the entry. So there we go. Is that correct? Okay, let me check. Yeah, so we can unobserve the entry, and that's it. We only want to do something when the entry is intersecting. And now if we scroll down, and it did not work. Why did that not work? Let me double check again. Entry.animate is not a function. I forgot to mention that it should be entry.target. Oops. So this is the same as the event in event listener, and right, yeah, and other stuff like on click and stuff. So basically events, since intersection observer is basically like an event as well, but it is different. Okay, it's different but somewhat the same, and I forgot that. Anyway, now if I save this, it should be working now. Okay, there we go. Scroll down. So if I refresh this again and scroll down very fast, and yeah, there we go. It's doing the same stuff, but I want it to actually be faster than that. It's like turtle slow, you know. I want it to be hardcore. Anyway, and then I guess, okay, 500, 1k. Oh no, 500, 700, then 100 for the paragraph. So let's be very slow, fast. Okay, and I forgot that the data direction down as well. Should have transform, translate, offline 25%. So this is like a simple slide down, slide up, slide right, slide left animations. So there we go. And voila. Okay. And if you want to, have the element or section be more visible before we run the function, or when you want to run the function right away, then we can just remove the options, leave it empty. So if I go navigate to that, oh wait, what happened? It was animating too quickly, wasn't it? My goodness, why is this website so slow? Oh, I think it's too fast. Okay. Okay then, but yeah, you get what I mean. And there we go. We have a functioning scroll animation on scroll rather, and voila. So now a bonus if you want to stay, because we have discussed intersection observer. You can do something here like if it's not intersecting, maybe you can prepare something. I'm not too sure, but yeah. For the next video, I think I will tell you about alright, I will make some cool animations on the next video, so I will prepare for that. But why is it doing that first? Let me check. Oh, that was weird. But yeah, I will prepare some sick animations for you guys, which I will tell you, of course, and show you how to do it. For now, this is just a simple one to tell you about the basics of JavaScript. And as always, I prefer using the CSS itself and not this .animate abomination for me. But I just shared it with you, so I hope you learned something, especially the intersection observer, and I keep forgetting about it, but this is how you implement it. And if you only want to run the observer once, you need to run the unobserved and then entry once you finish whatever you want to run here. So it should be like at the very bottom. If you want to only run it once, so you can specify, let's say an if statement here. You can have a callback function here instead, and get the entries and observer, and then that is when you run this animate on scroll. So let me show you. So let me show you how. So we have callback and entries and observer. Then so when it's like this, you need to run it. So we have entries and observer, and then we can have, let's say, options again, or let's say preferences. So like the object of preferences, do you want this to be run once or twice or whatever? So like if you want to make a library for stuff like a lightweight animations, which I will do, just a simple one, so it saves me time in animations, but you get it. You can specify like if you want this to be run once, twice, or whatnot. Yeah, that is when we'll unobserve. Okay. I think that's it. Now I will try to make the parallax effect, and if you want to stay, then continue watching. I'm not sure why it didn't work before, but let's do it. Let's do it anyway. Perspective, 10 pixels. Transform, translate Z, -10 pixels. Now it works. What? Huh? What? Did you remember that earlier it did not work? What? Okay, and now to fix that, we just say scale. So from 10 pixels, so this number can be anything really, the perspective can be anything. This is just like a base, a root to refer or to base on. So what perspective, how far do you want it to be at base? And then that is when we'll refer to that. So when we will refer to that to translateZ. So if we say 10 pixels, then that means 20 pixels far away from the perspective of the user. So you get my jive? So like, this can be anything that you want. This is like the base, the root of like a value. You give a value to the user's perspective, or like to the whole whole page, let's say. So like refer to this like a 3D. So this whole space here is a 3D, and like it's going deeper and deeper, like a tunnel. There we go. It's like a tunnel that goes further. The further away the translateZ is, where is it? translateZ is from the perspective. And to fix that, we can just say scale. But by how much? Well, you notice it's -10, and 10 minus -10 is -20, right? Oh no, it's 20. Yeah, 20. So 20 pixels far. It's 20 pixels far from the perspective of the user. Let's just say scale of 2. And there we go. Let's back to that. As you notice, there's some kind of a parallax already. Wait. Okay, that my mouse is. Oh my god, mouse! Come on! Oh my goodness, mouse! Okay. And there we go. It's like the image is much slower. It's much slower to scroll up than the. So it's like 3D some kind. But yeah, and maybe we can say 20 pixels there. So of 30, then 24. There we go. Now it's much more obvious, I think. Yeah, it's much more obvious now. And yeah, that's it. Instead of using JavaScript, hammering DOM with various event listeners. But yeah, I also want to apply it to the H2, to the container. There we go. And to make it more visible, I guess you can apply like a second, like a layer of image here, but I won't do that. Just the content container itself. There we go. And there we go. And if you remove the scale, it should be smaller. There we go, it's much smaller. Oh wait, it should be the children of the content container, not the content container itself. There we go. Excuse me, okay. There we go. Okay. And voila. We are done for today. This is pretty fun to navigate to. Oh well. That is all. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something. And of course, I only have, let's say, 5 months or 4 months of experience in programming, and 3 months max in JavaScript. So thank you for watching, and if I made some errors, mistakes, please do correct me down below in the comments or message me, and I will gladly accept that. I'm willing to learn. But yeah, I'm just sharing it with you because, why not? I've learned some things here and there, and good luck on your development journey, and I will show you much cooler stuff in the next video as I study more, or like develop some cool animation effects, just simple ones and some amazing ones. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye. See you next time. Oh, I haven't uploaded.